now you know why it makes more sense to fight him than some foreign person who nobody knows. So also, you take the top 15. There is a few foreigners in there who nobody knows about.
Why not take the 6 months though? Why not wait for a Usyk? Why get Chisora?
Because it's my career. Why would I wait for somebody else?
Yo guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've not done it already, subscribe to Off the Canvas Box to like the video and do all of those amazing stuff. This one, a lot of people have been hitting me up and saying, yo, have you seen this interview? Have you seen this interview? And I just seen it go AWOL. I'll say, you know what, I haven't seen it, but you know what? Let's watch it for those who haven't seen it or those who want to see my reaction. Let's watch it together, okay? Let's just get straight into this. This is the Tyson Fury loses it with Geordie over Chisora fight. Let's get straight into this.
Welcome back to the True Geordie YouTube channel. Today's guest is the heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury. So, Tyson, how are you today, mate? You all right?
Good.
Yeah? I've been thinking about this influencer boxing. I wondered if you'd seen KSI's last fight by any chance.
Just before we start, I've got 40 minutes, yeah? Because
Yeah,
I've got to be at the gym. That's plenty, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, go on. Continue. Sorry.
All right, KSI's last fight. Did you see it?
I didn't. I'm not going to lie. I didn't see him. When did he fight?
It was like a month ago. He was interested in fighting Tommy. I think obviously him and Jake Paul have got this thing. Tommy's involved. Yeah. I wondered what you thought of it. I'm
actually in training camp for a real fight. So yeah, I don't watch all that YouTube stuff.
All right.
Not that I've got anything against it. I think it's great for the sport and great for the people who do it. Great for everybody. But it's not my cup of tea. If I want to see a real fight, I go down to a Morecambe Boozer on a Friday night and I watch a fight.
Yeah, drink responsibly, guys. For any viewers who watching this, you know, I don't condone fighting at outside pubs. But let's go.
We had Deontay Wilder, your former foe, obviously fighting recently, and he won by knockout. Had a bit of a cry afterwards. Seemed a bit of a different bloke. What did you make of that? Very different the way he was with you after the fights.
Maybe I knocked a bit of sense into him. And maybe he's been humble from the 3 beatings that I gave the sucker. He's a former knockout victim of the Gypsy King.
Do you think that softened him up a little bit and made him realise that maybe...
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. You never know, though, you know. Man's got to do what a man's got to do, and if that's what he needs to do, then that's what he needs to do.
It's interesting because he showed you no respect after the fight, and yet then there he is crying. It was bizarre for me to watch, to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's none of my business what they do, to be fair.
Conor Benn, that's the big news of the day. I wanted to get a little bit of your impression of this. He tested positive for a female fertility drug. And obviously we were hearing from Eddie Hearn that when everything comes out, we'll all realise that Conor...
Look, I'm a huge fan of True Geordie. I like it, but the interview started off with asking Tyson about has he seen Jake Paul fight? Not Jake Paul, KSI fight. Has he seen the Deontay Wilder fight as well? It's like it's not around really Tyson Fury, but we continue.
Probably innocent. Today it's come out that 2 tests from 2 separate occasions from a month apart, or at least a month apart, were both positive. And the only thing that they're saying is contamination is what their excuse for it. What do you make of it?
Again,
I done a reaction to that breaking news, so that will be on my YouTube channel. I think it was the last actual video that I uploaded.
It's none of my business, so don't get involved. And again, like you're speaking to Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King. I am my own man. I'm not a sheep. I don't follow the cliche of, oh, let's talk about someone because it's in fashion. I don't give a toss what they do. None of my business. I keep this nose in what concerns me. And I don't get involved in other people's business. Period.
Right. Okay. Fair play.
None of my concern what Conor Bez does. He's about 10 stone. He's not in my division. I don't focus on what they do in their lives. And I've no interest what fertility drug they take. Don't care. Maybe he's trying for twins and he's taking IVF. Don't know. And I don't really care.
I guess the part of the reason I was interested is because Eddie Hearn was one of the biggest speakers on behalf of Conor Benn. And you've had your back and forths with Eddie, and in regards to the Anthony Joshua fight collapse, which is your business, he tried to point the finger at you, blaming you for your deadlines, saying it was your fault and not his fault. Looking back at that whole situation, it did become a bit of a mess. How do you feel about that now?
You know, I'm over Eddie Hearn and Joshua. So if they want to blame me, blame me. I'll take the blame, no problem. It was all me. I'm scared. Muscles, them weights he lifts and all.
We're now, what, 4 minutes 14 on the clock, and we've spoken about Eddie Hearn, a little bit of Eddie Hearn, not really AJ, a little bit of Eddie Hearn, Conor Ben, KSI, Deontay Wilder, who else? I think, yeah, etc. But it's Tyson Fury. But yeah.
How much of a badass he is, and those 3 losses in his last 5 fights, it absolutely terrified me. So yeah, blame me. I'm the man. I'll be the fall guy. Don't care. I'm just over him. Don't want to mention him. Not interested in him at all. There will be no more contact or no more mention of those suckers.
Really?
Back of the queue, out of the line, and in the cold with the wolves. Nowhere to go.
Because
had the chance and blew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They blamed it on these deadlines you set, and I guess the confusion.
Yeah, I don't blame them for blaming it on the deadlines. Probably good bit of blaming. Deadlines, you know, if there's a deadline set, you know what a deadline means, don't we? Do we all know what a deadline means?
I hear you. Yeah, I mean,
if you don't do something in a certain time when someone's chucking you a bone or giving you a job, then you lose that opportunity. And that opportunity is now flown. So, you know, it's no interest what they do in their lives or their careers. So I wish them nothing but the best of luck.
The confusion comes from the outside looking in anyway, and this is something that a lot of your fans have commented on, is Chisora has the same promoter, same management team, and yet he didn't get a deadline. Is there a reason for that?
Chisora didn't get a deadline. Chisora just agreed.
Or publicly, there was no deadline to our knowledge.
Good question. This is what I'm talking about. Great question. Why Chisora not getting the deadline for a man like Anthony Joshua, who has to probably overcome a lot more hurdles commercially to have a fight scheduled than Chisora, but then Chisora doesn't get a deadline. Make that make sense. Let's go.
Knowledge, because obviously you made it very public about the AJ deadline, whereas Chisora seemed to get extra time. And that seemed to be a much smoother process. Why was that different?
Chisora's got balls. There's no P's and Q's about it. Chisora's got balls. Stepped up to the plate, agreed to the fight, agreed to everything that was on the table.
Correction. Derek Chisora and Anthony Joshua have the same management team and have the same, ish promoter. Chisora's on a fight-by-fight basis with Eddie, and Anthony Joshua is signed with Eddie on a lifetime deal. But really, Chisora's with Eddie. So, for the most part, they have the same manager, managed by the same company. Okay, same guys managing them. The same people are promoting them. But yeah, that's confusion. But let's continue.
As a fan point of view, obviously I make videos, but ultimately I'm a fan. I'm a fan of you. You're one of my favourite fighters, and the things that made me connect with you and many others is like you always seem to take on challenges that other people wouldn't do. From Klitschko going into his backyard, or taking the Wilder fight after you'd been through the hell and back, and the way you took on your mental health difficulties in public. I always felt like there's a man who takes on a challenge, and that's why this Chisora fight I think is rubbing people up the wrong way, is because it doesn't feel like you're.
He does not take on a challenge, guys. Look, Chisora is one of my favorite YouTubers out there. On this point, I completely disagree. He does not take his challenges. For example, he's only had 2 title defenses in his entire he defended his title against a trilogy fight with Deontay Wilder, which is one of them, and the other one was against a mandatory, which was against Dillian White, which was a bit all over the place because that potentially was not about to happen. So really and truly, he's had 2 title defenses in his entire career. Okay, he's fought I would argue maybe even less than half the top 10 contenders that AJ's probably fought. What else? The resume, it doesn't speak of a person that's open to challenging themselves against the best, because I don't see Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin in that list anyway, shape or form. And Sefer Seferi and Pianetta, and none of them happen to be mandatories. None of them, absolutely none of them, happen to be mandatories. So yeah, we'll continue. I disagree on that point.
We're doing your usual thing that we love you for, which is it's not a challenge for you.
What is a challenge, though? Getting an opponent's a challenge. That's the challenge. First of all, when I made him the return and comeback fight, I offered it to Alexander Usyk. He said he wanted the WBC crown, and it was held by gypsies. I think we all seen that video. I said it is held by gypsies, held by the Gypsy King, yada, 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 so on and so forth. You want it? Come and get it. So he was offered a very lot of money, which I'm not at liberty to say on camera, to fight on December the 3rd. But he said he needed a 6-month training camp or some stupidness like that. I don't know. I don't get involved in the nitty-gritty.
Fact check, Alexander Usyk is not physically fit to fight Tyson Fury this year. Physically, he's not fit. I think he picked up an injury in training. He's not fit. That's a correction. That's correct.
We declined it, so then I went to the...
Why not take the 6 months, though? Why not wait for a Usyk? Why get Chisora?
Because it's my career. Why would I wait for somebody else? Some little Ukrainian foreign bosser. It's on my terms. I run boxing.
Whoa. Let's go back a bit. Hold on. Let's go back.
Somebody else. Some little Ukrainian foreign bosser. It's on my terms. I run boxing. I don't...
Sorry. We misheard. We must have misheard. Hold on.
Some little Ukrainian foreign bosser. It's on my terms. I run boxing. I don't dance to somebody else's tune. Their times will come. Whether they step up to the plate, they step up to the plate. But, when you get offered a fight by somebody and you're in a position to take it, you know what? You got to take it. Because if you don't, that bird will fly away and you're going to lose the opportunity.
That's all very logical, and definitely no arguments with what you've said there. It's just that it feels like there could have been other fighters who you haven't fought in the top 50 and who would have also taken the opportunity, and who would have offered a lot more intrigue to your fans than Chisora, when you've obviously beaten Chisora so easily before.
Usyk beat Joshua, didn't he, quite easily?
Yeah.
And Chisora pushed Usyk all the way. 50-50 fight. So if Chisora's no good, then neither is Usyk.
Well, potentially, but I mean, that's a fair argument, but also it's more just the intrigue. For fans, we want interesting matchups. And you beat Chisora with one arm behind your back, basically, and to a point where it was getting booed last time.
A long time ago. But I also beat Deontay Wilder twice and then did a rematch with him. And I can guarantee you there won't be one person in the world who would not want to see a 4 fight between me and Wilder, and I've already beaten him 3 times. So even if you want to go at liberty, 2 times in a draw. But people would want to see that again, right?
No. I think people would want to see it because Deontay has that X factor in his hand, and he can change a fight at any moment. Whereas Chisora, he's lost 50% of his last 50 in fights, and even the last fight he won was a razor-thin decision, and the other 3, his last 4 were losses. So
and very close losses to high-level opponents.
Oh, they are high-level. There's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, he's had good victories along the way as well.
I just think that we've seen so much of you in Chisora, enough to know, has the old dog learned new tricks? I mean, he doesn't look like he's getting better with Parker battering him the way he did, and it just looks like it's an easy money fight for you. I don't think that that's what you've put yourself across as you're about, which is why there's some confusion there for your fans. You're like,
well, it's also history making.
Why is it history making?
I'm going to enlighten you.
Okay.
I'll be the first heavyweight champion in history to complete 2 trilogies. So now you know why it makes more sense to fight him than some foreign person who nobody knows. So also, you take the top 15. There is a few foreigners in there who nobody knows about. Yeah, with undefeated records. But when I fight them foreigners, people don't...
The casual racism is not even casual, bruv. The racism in this that is spewing from his mouth, yeah, it's mad. Not or xenophobia. I don't know if that counts, but you know what I mean, guys. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Foreigners. This is the sport of boxing. This is the sport of boxing. Yeah, it's the two individuals getting in the ring and competing against themselves, against each other. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Chinese, flipping, whomever, Latino. It doesn't really matter where you're from. Okay, it only matters of what you do in the ring and your accomplishments that comes out of it. Everything else is we're all like, what? This is a culture of boxing. Okay, this is the sport and culture of boxing, and the stuff that's spewed out of his mouth. Okay, I urge any young fan watching this video to stay away from this brother. I'm sorry. Stay away from listening to him. Yes, he does have some inspirational moments, but this is not a person you should be following. I'm going to be as honest as possible. This is the person you should not be following. I'm not talking about Geordie because I'm a huge fan. I support what he does. I follow what he does. But I'm talking about Tyson, the Gypsy Fraud Fury. Okay.
So now
Okay.
I'll be the first heavyweight champion in history to complete 2 trilogies. So now you know why it makes more sense to fight him than some foreign person who nobody knows. So also, you take the top 15. There is a few foreigners in there who nobody knows about. Yeah, with undefeated records. But when I fight them foreigners, people are not interested anyway. You're better off with somebody you know who's a household name, who people can relate to and support and sing, oh, Derek Chisora, than somebody you can't even say the guy's name, who we've never heard of. He could be shit, he could be good. So you pick somebody out of the top 15. Pick one. Anybody you want.
I mean,
they're all
Joe
about
Joyce.
the same.
Joe Joyce.
Joe Joyce had just fought Joe Parker and even said publicly he wouldn't be ready for the 3rd.
Okay.
Don't forget, we've been through all of these names.
From my point of view, I hear you compared a lot to the greats. And for me, you're right up there.
Sorry, Ali. I do, and Mr. Liston, they're using their name. They're using your name in vain. Not Geordie, but I'm talking about Tyson Fury. I do apologize to all of this.
But the difference is I think with Muhammad Ali, with Lennox Lewis, you look back at their career and you can say these guys fought everyone in their era. And right now, that seems to be a real struggle for you. I'm not saying it's your fault.
There's only Joshua left of my era. That's it. And you couldn't make him fight me if he's going to give him 50 million. I think
Joshua, Usyk and Joyce all pose interesting questions.
They're not my era. Usyk and Joyce are not my era. They come from a different era. They were still changing nappies when I was a champion. I was world heavyweight champion while they were boxing for a plastic cup. So they come from a different era.
Either way, I think it adds to your legacy. And when you talk about legacy...
But one thing that you underestimate, my friend, is I don't give one damn about legacy. Do you
talk about it a fair bit, though, right? You talk about being the greatest ever a lot.
I don't talk about that at all. Because when I'm finished from boxing...
He did. In this interview, I'm the only man in heavyweight boxing history to complete 2 sets of trilogies whilst being a heavyweight champion. We heard it in the interview. So right now, it's a complete contradiction, okay?
Do you know what? I don't care about what people think about me or how many belts I won or what fights didn't happen. It's no interest. You go back to all the press conferences and see. No interest in legacy, no interest in being remembered, no interest in belts. Check it out.
Okay, I have heard you say this before, but I've also heard you say, I'm the greatest of all time many, many times. And to me, if that's not of interest of you, why say it?
Because I am. I'd beat any man born from his mother.
But you haven't proven that, is my point.
You can't prove it because you can't go back in time and fight all the greats. You can only beat whoever's in front of you. I'm not saying.
Okay, well, I think...
What is it that you're getting at here anyway?
What I'm getting at is... I think the Chisora fight is you're charging the Great British public hard-earned money to watch this on pay-per-view, and when you've already beaten him twice and he's shown that he is nowhere near up to your level.
Twice, and people still paid for it.
I think Deontay Wilder is of a much more dangerous fight, hence why he put you down multiple times, whereas Chisora, he ain't going to put you down if he's in there with a hammer with you.
You know he can't put anybody down. If
Well,
he's
I'm
in
not saying he
heavyweight,
won't
we
put
can't
anyone
speak
down.
about
It's just he won't put you down.
How do you know that?
I don't believe so, because he struggled so much with you last time that the crowd were booing towards the end of the fight because it was so
Styles
boring.
make fights. Chisora's done what he's got to do. And no matter what you say or what people like you want to say about Derek Chisora, he's achieved more than in boxing and in fighting than 10 men like you could ever achieve.
I agree
so
with
I'm not
you.
just going to let you sit here and slate somebody who's fought the best fighters of this
I'm
era.
not slating him. I just don't think he's good enough to be in there with you anymore. I think Derek Chisora is a legend of what you can achieve with war in your heart.
He's a top
But
10
he is not
rated
up to your
fighter,
level.
and he's done a lot. He's done a lot in the sport, and he deserves this payday, and I'm willing to give it. And that's
Is this about the payday for Chisora for you a little bit? Is this you sorting out an old mate a little bit? I know you gave him your word.
Chisora does what he does, and he fights people, and he gets his wins, and he's had more lives than a cat. But it is what it is. I'll be fighting Chisora, and that's it. Look forward to it. And if you don't want to watch it, then please don't. And if you do, tune in. And if you don't want to buy a ticket, don't buy a ticket. And if you do, we let the rest of the 50 or 60 odd thousand that's already bought tickets. So
one last question about Usyk.
I beg to differ with you, because there's already been over 60,000 tickets sold. So somebody's obviously interested in the fight.
Well, I think people are interested in you because you are great. And I don't dispute that for 1 second, Tyson. But what people really want is...
You can see where I'm coming from. I can't let you probably never had a fight in your life, run Chisora down. He's fought everybody.
I'm not doing that.
I cannot let that happen.
I'm just saying the facts are he's lost 50% of his last 15 fights and isn't at the level
He's fought
that you're
world
at.
level. And he fought what is now the unified.
What about Anthony Joshua? 3 of his last fights, 2 of which were at world level. In fact, I would argue the people that Chisora lost to, and I'm talking about Pulev, Drew Ruiz is better than Pulev. And based on that, I would definitely say that where is the same sympathy for Anthony Joshua in this circumstance? It's a great question.
Heavyweight champion of the world in Usyk pushed him all the way. So somebody who can't fight doesn't do that.
The same Usyk, that he referred to as the blown up middleweight that nobody wants to see him fight against, or that he doesn't respect at all in terms of his boxing accolades. He referred to, like, trust me, I don't know what. It's a walking contradiction here. I
never said he can't fight, though. What I'm saying is with his record right now, I don't think he should be getting a world title fight. And I think there's a potential in boxing for people to get badly hurt when they're mismatched. And I think that this is a mismatch.
I don't. I think the heavyweight fights and anything can happen. Don't write Derek Chisora off, because you're only 1 punch away from victory.
Hey, if Chisora does it, I think the world would be happy for him. Even you'd be the one on the receiving end of it. Big thanks for taking the interview, Tyson. I understand where you're coming from. Appreciate you and Derek are legends of British boxing. All respect in that sense. And I wish you the best of luck, mate. See you next time. Cheers, mate.
I think you're a tosser, you little toss-pot.
Thanks.
And I won't be doing any more interviews with you little toss-pot, bearded,
no worries, mate. Thanks very much.
Kiss my balls, you little wanker. You little shit house.
Have you worked out how to close this phone? Are you all right?
Suck
Hit the
a
button
dick.
at the bottom. Well, that went well. You ever been cussed out by the heavyweight champion of the world? Probably not. Very glad I did this one on video call, because that could have been a painful end to my life. But equally, this fight is not a competitive fight, and I'm open to be proven wrong. It's my opinion. But I think a lot of people out there feel the same way. And from now on, I can't possibly be giving my fight opinions on videos and then interview someone and not say what I really think. And I did try and be as respectful as I could. When he was like, oh, you're doing Chisora down, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, I'm not. I'm just saying he shouldn't be in there with you. I don't think he's on your level. We've seen that twice. Why was there a trilogy for Deontay Wilder? Because there was a level of jeopardy there. There's no fucking jeopardy here. Yeah, I get for Fury, he's in a difficult situation. He's picked the fight. He wants the fight to go ahead, and he's got to sell that fight. And I'm kind of poking holes in this, and, it's probably annoying. Fair play. You can say what he likes. I don't take myself seriously. Really don't give a shit, because I think a lot of people out there will want to hear him respond to that. And that's my fucking job at the end of the day, is to say those things so that you lot hear what you want to hear. So let's hope I don't see Tyson anytime soon, because yeah, just this chin. It's not, as you said, you know, I'm a pretty boy. Okay, thanks for everyone who watched this video. Appreciate you all. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
What a video! What a video! Some good questions. In there, he did ask some good questions. You know, I would have preferred a couple of more like detailed questions on the fallout of the AJ fight and how that came about, etc. Just a little bit more in depth of that one, and more importantly, what his plan is over the next 18 months, etc. Like stuff like that. But you saw that he was in his bag, that Fury didn't really want to answer a lot of the questions, so it is what it is. Anyway, thanks for all of you guys for watching this video. Subscribe, like the video, do all of those amazing stuff, and peace, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.